Hello, Richard.
Yeah.
I've started streaming it so we can go ahead. Um, John's just connecting to
Is he?
audio, so I think there's a little bit of background noise.
Where's that coming from?
Sounds like an ice cream van or something.
Is that from me or from you?
Not from me. Who knows?
I just wonder whether it's.
Richard,
Yeah.
I've started streaming it so we can go ahead. Sorry, we're getting an echo. John's just connecting to
Is he?
audio, so I think there's a little bit of back. Right, Richard, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Off you go.
All right. Have you got my own picture? Have you? What? Can they see me? Can they? Because I can only see you.
I can see John, but John's still connecting to audio, and your camera is not on,
My
Richard.
camera's on. Oh. Ah. Put it on, but I'd have to go out and come back in again, wouldn't I? Probably have best of me to start on audio early, to be honest.
Yes, just have a go on audio.
Further on audio, and then have to come out. I'll have to go out and come back in again, I imagine. I don't really want to delay the timings and everything. All right. Anyway, so I'd like to welcome everybody to this, what I hope to be a very memorable day. We've got it's organised by East Anglia Stand Up to Racism, and it's open to the nationwide through YouTube. And it's called Slavery's Roots, East Anglia Links and Teaching History. And I'd like to thank all those that have been involved in planning this meeting, which is taking place over the last few months. I'd like to particularly thank Hugh Stanners, who's done the Zoom host, and also like to thank Madge Dresser, who jointly we've prepared this meeting together. Just a quick resume of what we're intending. The afternoon session is run by Love Music, Hate Racism. And I thank very much those musicians who prepared to support the whole issue of racism. And we have a music and poetry event, and it's also included an open mic, but that is something which one had to do, contact the convener, Hugh Stanners, for involvement. We have a number of musicians, including John Brown, Keith and Sally Crykant, Mike Crome, John Griffin from Brighton, Mark Thompson, who comes from London, and John and Lynn Ward from Lowestoft. In the evening, we have an evening event, which is chaired by Raleigh Shuita, and includes a film poem by Mark Thompson to start, which was a film which was commissioned by the National Maritime Museum, commemorating UNESCO International Slavery Remembrance Day on September the 1st, and was recently broadcast on Radio 4 Returns. That will be opening our evening session, which is opened by Madge Dresser, who will be giving an overview of slavery's roots, going back 400 years to the history of it, a general overview of the slavery's roots tied in with colonialism and imperialism, in particular as it relates to European colonialism and specifically to British. We then have John Sillett, who gives an overview. This week is the 400 years of the Mayflower and voyage to America. And he gives a view of those that went over and what took place after that. Then on third, we have Gavin Little and Ian Luckett from the NEU, who will be giving, because of the way that we're looking at history, and the theme of this event is that we need to change the curriculum of how our young people, that it should be changed, the curriculum. And Alex Costello will lean up with a kind of in-depth analysis of those in East Anglia who depended upon slavery for a living, and there were many who were compensated during the abolition of the Slavery Act last in the 1800s, but received substantial compensation, which in fact has only just been repaid by the government in 2015. And also those that campaigned against it. Well, there are many in Norfolk and nationwide who campaigned against abolition, and that will be focusing on that. Finally, I'd just like to get a general view. I think we live in very, very difficult times, really rather dark days, to be honest, in the world situation. We have very negative tendencies, and that is particularly instanced by, I would say, 2 deaths that have taken place recently. Previously with Jamal Khashoggi, who was murdered and cut up into pieces in the Arabic embassy in Turkey. And to this day, nobody has found his body or his parts, and nobody has been held to account, although we know very well from the links back, it's possibly to the Saudi Arabian leading council in terms of the people who run that country. And also to George Floyd, who in the full view of our cameras was actually lynched on the ground. We saw his death on the ground, and that's actually been reconfirmed by the shooting down of Jacob Blake in full view of cameras. And to be honest, to start this day, I thought it'd be very useful to actually read out the Anon poem, which was written out to the death of George Floyd. This was written by anonymous poet, but I can see it was obviously done very carefully done in terms of its phrasing. And I thought it might be very useful to read it out. So beginning now, this is Death of George Floyd, and an anonymous poem, but obviously there was an individual who wrote it. Handcuffed, face down, knee on his neck, they did nothing. He called the officer, sir, they did nothing. He begged for his life, he begged for water, he begged for mercy, they did nothing. His nose bled, his body trembled, he lost control of his bladder, they did nothing. 12 more times, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, but they did nothing. One last time he gasped, I can't breathe, they did nothing. He lost conscious, they did nothing. Off-city medical personnel begged them to stop, they did nothing. Deprived of oxygen, his organs screaming, his brain frantic, they did nothing. They watched George Floyd die, his life fading, a slow death, they did nothing. A lynching on the ground, they did nothing. For 8 agonizing minutes, 4 officers watched. He cried out for his mother, a grown man, crying out for the woman who gave him life, as if feared in her death, and still they did nothing. A black man, a gentle giant, murdered because he was black. Rest in peace, may justice be served. No human being is more human than another human. And that was written by somebody in after his death was seen on video. But just going back to the grievous situation we have in the present, we have a very dysfunctional world, really do. America or Britain first, there's no way to address the present planetary emergency, which looks like the approach of historic conjuncture of forces, often described as so many horses: climate emergency, nuclear arms race, population increase and chronic inequalities, and a capitalist system of competitive economies unable to address survival challenges requiring adaptation, convergence, and cooperation based on interdependence of interest. Let's hope when this cloud passes that the world as one Earth will come together and address all these historic challenges, in particular the climate emergency fast approaching towards us at an increasing pace. In conclusion, we are in nature and not apart from the biosphere that we're all dependent upon. We breathe the same breath that was created when the Earth greened into life many millennia ago. Let's not this wake-up call go amiss, as the challenges of the future, such as climate change, already taking place at an increasing pace. and which cannot be so mitigated or stopped when, as now, we try to break the transmission threads of this pandemic, but must be addressed full frontal with intelligent and transformative designs in living to change and adapt, and so tip the balance in favour of collective support, harbouring each and every potential life when each of us open our eyes to see the world before us. I think that I'd like to mark that off as the completion of this. But before ending, I'd like just to refer to the fact is that Mayflower left this world 400 years ago and went to America. We have the same issue of people from all over the world, whether it be from the Sahara, from places of where in fact of death and of war, trying to get across the Mediterranean Sea, and are dying on the. We should, with open arms, change our ways before this. And I'd like to read a poem which was written in commemoration of the World War I, which which was written by Judith Walton and in commemoration of World War I, and it's called Aftershock, as Joanne remembers. Nobody met our ship when we came home. No flags, no bands, no cheers, no state occasion. Unrecognized we docked, our sacrifices unremarked, just an ordinary day. At home I sit and try to forget the unbearable cold, the freezing rain, the stench of the mud, the enemy who was not our enemy, while bombs poured down like monsoon rain. That mud wiped out our darker skins. Our dead were camouflaged, their bones crushed under our feet. Now as rain hammers on my roof, I cower in corners, hide from invisible bombs, watch whirling shrouds wrapping our dead Joans, spinning in my mind like dervishes. I run through tortured labyrinths, bounce off padded walls. There is no escape. So I'd like to just conclude that, opening the day of anti-racism with music and an evening event where we will be discussing the origins of slavery and what we need to do about it in terms of our curriculum and take us further forward. Thank you very much. My name is Richard Chilvers, bringing up from Stand Up to Racism. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Richard. Very powerful opening to our Love Music, Hate Racism event. We are in dark times, but the truth is the protest of Black Lives Matter has given us huge hope, and we hope they keep going. The protests have been global, and we will feed into that and join them as well. We've had magnificent protests in this area. We've also got much better tunes than the far right. We've got much better musicians. We've got more soul. And with that introduction, I'd like to bring in John Brown, who's one of my favourite singers with a lot of soul and a bit of blues in there, and lovely guitar. John, take it away. You need to unmute yourself, John. You're unmuted now, John. Should be able to hear you. Can't hear you yet, though. Can't hear you. All right, John's indicating that he's going to try an alternate method. So it looks like I'm going to have to talk to everybody for the time being. I should think John will be long. I think he's going to be all right. Love Music, Hate Racism is a national organisation which has a twin track strategy of working with the music industry and people at the top of the music industry. And we really want as many local groups as possible. And we've got local groups and local gigs all over the country. Obviously, it's difficult to go live at the moment, but you can guarantee that we will be live as soon as possible. I can see Keith and hello, Keith. And who's that with Keith? I don't know. Keith will be on at 3:30.
Does John know where the unmute switch is? Because it doesn't appear, does it, until you move the cursor?
John is unmuted. It's something else.
Oh.
I don't know why we can't hear John. Hold on. John is muted again now. Hello, John. No, still can't hear you. I'm just thinking, Keith, if you were actually ready, then we could swap you over with John. John, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap you over. Okay, so you've got time to set up, and then if Keith, are you actually ready? That's brilliant, Keith.
Yeah.
That's very kind of you. You're a real professional.
You haven't heard us yet.
I have heard you before, and it's wonderful. So this is Keith and
Sally.
Keith and Sally, and it looks like it's going to be guitar and voice. And I won't describe it. I'll leave you to describe your music, Keith.
Okay. Yeah. Well, when I was invited after the last link up like this, I played some solo guitar before, and this time I thought, well, what would be the point of just playing general sort of jazzy tunes? So I invited Sally, who we've worked together for years. We've been married for years as well, to do something more relevant. So we decided to select some music from Billie Holiday. And I'll hand over to Sally. She's made a couple of notes just about a bit of the background to Billie Holiday. Most people know her anyway, but...
So Billie Holiday, or Lady Day, was one of the greatest exponents of jazz singing Billie experienced racial prejudice all of her life, but none more so than in the 30s and 40s in the southern states of America, where segregation was deeply rooted between white and black Americans. She had to stay in hotels for blacks and Negroes while her white band stayed elsewhere. Jim Crow rule was in force. On stage, she also suffered racist abuse due to the color of her skin. Being very light, she had to black it up, and her integrated band was sometimes more threatening to the audience than if she played with an all-Negro band. It was always a nightmare for her using the bathroom. She couldn't ever find one, which she was entitled to use, being a black person, and she had to walk through kitchens to get onto the stage and use service elevators instead of ones for guests. Sometimes she would even resort to wearing a red dot on her forehead to pass as a citizen of India. Strange Fruit was a poem which she recorded. It was written about lynching or hanging black Americans from trees by the Ku Klux Klan in the South. It haunted Billie all of her adult life. Our tribute today is to a great artist and is a medley of songs that she wrote, co-wrote, and just simply recorded. Hope you enjoy them. I'm living for you. It's easy living, it's easy to give. When you're in love and I'm so in love, I'm crazy for you. That's why I'm living for you. It's easy living, it's easy to give. When you're in love and I'm so in love, my heart beats for you. For you. I would play the fool, but it's fun. People say they rule me with one wave of your hand. Darling, it's grand, but they just don't understand why I'm living for you. It's easy living and it's easy to give. When you're in love and I'm so in love, I'm just crazy for you. I'm living for you. It's easy living and it's easy to give. When you're in love and I'm so in love, my heart beats for you. For you. I would play the fool, but it's fun. People say you rule me with one little wave of your hand. My darling, it's grand, but they just don't understand why I'm living for you. It's easy living, it's easy to give. When you're in love and I'm so in love, I'm crazy for you. I'm living for you. You go to my head and you linger like a haunting refrain, and I feel you spinning round in my brain like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. go to my head like a sip of sparkling burgundy brew, and I feel the very mention of you is like the kicker in a julep or two. The thrill of the thought that you might give a thought to my plea casts a spell over me. So I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. This affair never can be. You go to my head with a sigh that makes my temperature rise, like a summer with 1,000 Julys. You intoxicate my soul with your eyes. You go to my head and you linger like a haunting refrain, and I feel you spinning round in my brain like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. You go to my head like a sip of sparkling burgundy brew, and I feel the very mention of you is like the kicker in a julep or two. The thrill of the thought that you might give a thought to my plea casts a spell over me. And so I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. This affair never can be. You go to my head with a sigh that makes my temperature rise, like a summer with 1,000 Julys. You intoxicate my soul with your eyes. Though I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't a ghost of a chance in this crazy romance, you go to my head, you go to my head. that's got shall give, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, and your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Well, the strong get more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets, they don't ever make the grade, 'cause your mama may have, and your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Money, you've got lots of friends there, crowding round your door. When you're gone, friendship ends, they ain't gonna come no more. Rich relations give crusts of bread and such. Go and help yourselves. Don't you take too much, 'cause your mama may have, and your papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. This next song is a bit more cheerful actually than some of the ones that Billie Holiday recorded. And she had such a harrowing life, and obviously she was a drug addict and she was into alcohol and so on, but she also had trouble with the men in her life. And this song's entitled Baby, I Don't Cry Over You. So I always say it's like Billie Holiday's fighting back. I had my lunch all alone, waited for you to phone. You said you'd call me at 2. So by 20 of 3, I had cocktails with Lee. 'Cause baby, I don't cry over you. You stood me up in the rain, tried to hurt me again. You thought I'd be blue, but I went out to a show with a swell guy named Joe. 'Cause baby, I don't cry over you. Listen, these foolish games you keep playing, they might work for somebody else, but I could have told you right from the start, no man's a man enough to break my heart. If you don't come tonight, it won't give me a fright. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll put on my best gown and go painting this town. 'Cause baby, I don't cry over you. These foolish games you keep playing, they might work for somebody else, but I should have told you right from the start, no man is a man enough to break my heart. If you don't come tonight, It won't give me a fright. I tell you what I will do. I'll put on my best gown and go painting this town. 'Cause baby, I don't cry over you. Listen, Jack, your sweet Jill will be out with some bill. 'Cause baby, I don't cry over you. No, sir. Summertime and the living's been easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your dad is rich and your mama's good looking. So now hush, little baby, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you'll spread your little wings as you take to the sky. But until that morning, there ain't nothing can harm you. With your daddy and your mommy standing by. Summertime and the living's been so easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, yes, it is. Your dad is rich and your ma is, she is so good looking. So now hush, hush, little baby, you ain't got no need to cry. Summertime, 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 summertime.
30 minutes.
We've just got one more, and then we'll be on our way. Morning heartache, you old gloomy sight. Good morning heartache, thought we'd said goodbye last night. I turned and tossed till it seemed you had gone. But here you are with the dawn. Wish I'd forget you, but you're here to stay. It seems I met you when my love went away. Now every day I start by saying to you, good morning, heartache, what's new? Stop haunting me now. I can't take it no how. Just you leave me alone. I've got those Monday blues, straight through to Sunday blues. Good morning, heartache, here we go again. Good morning, heartache, you're the one who knew me when. I might as well get used to you hanging around. Good morning, heartache, sit down. Stop haunting me now. I can't take it no how. Just you leave me alone. I've got those Monday blues, straight through to Sunday blues. Good morning, heartache, here we go again. Good morning, heartache, you're the one who knew me when. I might as well get used to you hanging around. Good morning, heartache, sit yourself down.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Can you see me?
That's a lovely mood there. Lovely stuff from the 50s or before onwards. Really lovely singing and lovely guitar. Okay, I said we've got the best tunes, and we certainly have there. And talking of the best tunes, I've got Mike here. Mike Crome, who's a great anti-racist and lefty, I'd call him, and a really good singer as well. Welcome, Mike.
Oh, you can see me now.
Can hear you nicely. Mike, I'm going to ask you to unmute, please, Mike.
Okay, how's that?
That's lovely.
Okay. Yes. This is my guitar. How's that sound?
There's a bit of a hum. That's better.
Okay. I got my lamp plugged in, but just try this now. Oh, you know what that hum is? That's the computer, mate. It runs hot. It's old.
Okay, it's an old computer.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
How's the sound? How's the volume and the vocals sound?
Not bad.
Okay. I think I
No,
Huh?
put me in as lead, and so that was a bad idea.
Well, it's because of my
Yeah.
password.
Yeah,
It's going to tell me
I've done that. Yeah,
Okay, go for it, Mike.
Okay.
can't hear me. Okay.
There's someone. I can hear someone else talking in the background. I don't know if it's me or not.
No, it's me. It's John.
Hi, John.
How you doing? I'm just going to mute now.
Thanks, mate. And Lynn's okay. All right. First song I'm going to give it a try at is an old Australian folk song from the 80s, last century, by a great left-wing band called Red Gum. You guys probably heard of it, some of you. And it's the story of Ned Kelly in a very short song. It's called Poor Ned. Hang on a second. I did have a drink and it's disappeared.
We can't have that, John. Mike,
Can I have 1 second? I think I left it in the garden.
go and get it.
You sure?
Fine.
Okay, so it's not very professional, is it? Is there a beer out there, Emma? Oh, you're right
Let's hope Mike hasn't gone for too long.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good start. Cheers, everybody. Sorry about that. It's called Poor Ned. Oh, Ned, you're better off dead. At least you'll get some peace and pine. Right on your track, right on your back. Boy, they're gonna hang you high. Well, in 1878 was a year I remember well. Threw my father in an early grave. They flung my mama in jail. I don't know what's right or wrong, but they hung Christ with nails. 6 kids at the time, 2 still at the breast. Boy, they wouldn't go her bail. And we sing, poor Ned, you're better off dead. At least you get some peace in pine. Right on your track, right on your back. Boy, they're gonna hang you high. About Streambar Creek, just to let them know that I might be a bush ranger, but I'm not a murdering man. And I didn't want to kill Sergeant Kennedy with that comfort Lonigan. He alone could save his life by throwing down his guns. And he'd sing, oh Ned, you're better off dead, at least you get some peace in pine. Right on your track, right on your back. Boy, they're gonna hang you high. Well, you know that they took Ned Kelly and they threw him in the Melbourne jail. Fought so very bravely, dressed in iron mail. One man single-handed, he'll never fight to break the bars. But it's 1,000 like Ned Kelly who hoist the flag of stars. And we sing, oh Ned, you're better off dead, at least you get some peace in pine. Right on your track, right on your back, boy, they're gonna hang you high. Yeah. Oh Ned, you're better off dead, at least you get some peace in pine. Right on your track, right on your back, boy, they're gonna hang you high. Thank you very much. That was Poor Ned. I haven't got a clue who's out there. maybe no one, maybe some. But this next one, I was looking at different versions of this song today to see if there's anything a little bit less portentous about it. That I could make it a little bit cheerier, but I can't. It's called Working Class Hero. Soon as you're born, they make you feel small, by giving you no time instead of it all. Till the pain is so big you feel nothing at all. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero. Clever and they despise a fool. Till you're so bloody crazy you can't follow their rules. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. When they tortured and scared you for 20 odd years, expect you to pick up a career. When it's something clashing in the of some fear. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. With religion and sex and TV, and you think you're so clever, classless and free, but you're so unpleasant as far as I can see. A working class hero, something to be. A working class hero is something to be. Room at the top, they are telling you still. First you must learn how to smile when you kill. If you wanna be like the folks on the hill. A working class hero is something to be. A working class hero is something to be. Class hero is something to be. Thank you very much. That's I think Marianne Faithfull wrote it. I'm not sure. Maybe it was John Lennon also. Didn't really check it out. I think one more, Hugh. One more song. I'm going to do I think it's a song I hope. It's by Tom Waits. It's called Hold On. Well, they hung up a sign in our town. You can live it up, you won't live it down. So she left Monty real son, just like a bullet leaves a gun. With her charcoal eyes and her Monroe hips, she went and took that California trip. The moon was gold, her hair like wind. She said, don't look back, just come on, Jim. You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. Take my hand, and I'm standing right here. You gotta hold on. Well, he gave her a dime store watch and a ring straight from a school. Everyone's looking for someone to blame, but if you share my bed, you share my name. Go ahead and call the cops. You don't find nice girls in coffee shops. She said, baby, I still love you. Sometimes there's nothing left to do. But hold on. You gotta hold on. Take my hand, and I'm standing right here. You gotta hold on. Bless your crooked little heart. See who's got the best of me. I miss your broken China voice. How I wish you were still here with me. But you build it up and you rake it down and you burn your mansions to the ground. When there's nothing left to keep you here, when you're falling behind in this big blue world, you gotta hold on. You gotta hold on. Now take my hand, and I'm standing right here. You gotta hold on. Down by the Riverside Motel, it's 10 below and freezing. By a 99-cent store, you close your eyes and start swaying. But it's so hard to dance that way when it's cold. There's no music, and your old hometown so far away. But inside your head, there's a song that's playing called Hold On, Hold On. You gotta hold on. Take my hand, and I'm standing right here. You gotta hold on, hold on. You gotta hold on. Now take my hand, and I'm standing right here. You gotta hold on. Thanks very much. A bit of Tom Waits. Yeah, peace everybody. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Cheers, mate. Hope it was all right.
Keep up the lefty work.
You betcha, bruv. See you soon.
Yep, see you soon. Thank you.
Right.
Earlier we tried to have John Brown, and he had some technical issues. So if it's okay with John Griffin, who's coming on in the moment, I'd like to ask John Brown to have another go, just for a couple of numbers, if that's okay, John.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see you.
Hang on. Just a second. Why is that happening? Now they can't see me. Hang on a second.
That's an important part of the music business.
Yeah, what do we need to press to make it so you can, oh, start video. Hang on a second. Let's try that. There you go. That's better. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
You know, I'm much smoother when I do this when I'm live, you know. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to sing just like 2 or 3 songs on my own. And this first one is called Someone to Blame. It sounds quite negative, but it isn't if you stick with me to the last verse. Okay, somebody to blame. The love affair was not to be. You move on, wait and see. You need no one to tell you so. You cut it loose, let it go. You still don't know where it all went wrong. Different tune, same old song, and now you need somebody to blame. Oh, yeah, you need somebody to blame. The love affair was not to be. Never play the game. You mistaken wrong for right. You lay awake at night. You won't believe your life's been blessed. You tell your friends that your life's a mess. So now you need somebody to blame. Oh, yeah, you need somebody to blame. Time moves on, you still dream. You'd like to change what could have been. You got fading memories of your youth, and when you can, you bend the truth. The signs were there for you to see. Live to love, it'll set you free, and you will need somebody to blame. Oh, no, you won't need somebody to blame. The signs were there for you to see. Live to love, it'll set you free, and you won't need somebody to blame. Oh, no, you won't need somebody to blame. Oh, no, you won't need somebody to blame. That would have been a bit longer, but Laurie Court normally does all the saxophone bits. Okay, this song is called. This one is called "See the Little Soldier Boys." I was teaching at school a few months ago, and we did this thing about child soldiers, and I saw this photograph of these little boys, could have been no more than 7 or 8, dressed as soldiers, and this thought just came into my head. It's called "See the Little Soldier Boys." See the little soldier boys in dusty broken boots. They're past a faded memory, torn out by the roots. You'll find them in the cities, you find them on the farms. Just teach them how to stamp their feet up, how to swing their arms. See the little soldier boys, happy smiling faces. Watch the teenage sergeant put them through their paces. He came to the village when they were almost 8. He gave them all a flag to wave and taught them who to hate. Thunderbolt, machine guns, grenades, and magazines. Send them stuff just enough to shatter limbs and dreams. Send them old machine guns, grenades, and magazines. Send them stuff just enough to shatter limbs and dreams. See the little soldier boys broken on the floor. The hearts are falling silent, they're not smiling anymore. The world is full of soldier boys who think that war is great. Just teach them all a flag to wave and teach them who to hate. Send them old machine guns, grenades and magazines. Send them stuff just enough to shatter limbs and dreams. 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 Okay. Thank you very much. The next one I think I'll do for you is
Is it okay to do one more, John?
yeah,
more,
sure.
John? Thank you.
One more song, yeah. Okay. This is called The Dream. And it's about a dream I had where well, you'll get anyway. It's called The Dream. I dreamed that I talked with the devil. He reached out and took both my hands. He said, you come with me. I want you to see you're already one of the damned. He led me right up into heaven. I said, Satan, have you no fear? But then he just smiled as if to a child and said, relax, there's nobody here. Oh, but can't you see the world is going crazy? And it's my belief your God no longer cares. And when your world comes tumbling down around you, well, my friend, you know, yeah, I'll be there. I froze with fear and confusion. He told me fear's not a sin. You don't need to be bright to know the rules are too tight for you and your cat to get it. The next day I went to a preacher to talk of the things that I'd seen. He said, I think you will find that Satan is blind. Relax, it's just a bad dream. Oh, but I can't deny the world is going crazy. And it's my belief God still really cares. And when your world comes tumbling down around you, well, my friend, you know, he'll be there. They'll be there. Can you tell me now? You'll be there. Thank you very much. Could you hear that?
Yes, we can hear it. We can hear your lovely
Is the
voice.
sound quality poor?
Um,
Sorry?
The the guitar distorts a bit, but your voice is lovely. It's
Yeah,
difficult
it's
to
well.
sing.
Okay, well maybe next time. Shall we do? We'll try and do something live, huh?
I think
We'll
next
try and do
time,
something live soon.
yes, I think so.
Sorry?
We should go out to Chapelfield or somewhere like that and do something live, somewhere open air
Well, totally. Yeah.
where it's safe.
Yeah. Let's do it. Anyway, well, listen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very
Goodbye.
much for your time. Cheers, John.
Pleasure. No worries. See ya.
Right, waiting patiently is John Griffin.
Hello.
John, are you there? Hello, John.
Hello. Can
We
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes. Looks
Oh,
like
okay. Fine.
you've got
Cool.
a technical
Hello.
setup.
You've got a nice shot of the little mixing desk there, haven't you? But, I hope everybody's doing okay and trying to, managing to keep sane in this stupid year. This song is a true ghost story that happened to my great grandmother during World War One. I saw him there. I sort of started in the wrong key. Typical. I saw him there. And out back gate. Hang on, this is a. Oh yeah, okay. Third time lucky, eh? I saw him there. And out back gate. Standing clear as the day. Saw him there, clear as the day. My John, come home. My to me. the telegram. It said that John was killed in France, that he'd been slayed, that every hour I'd seen him there at our back gate, at our back gate, at our back gate, at our back gate. Oh, John, come home. Oh, John, come home. To me. This is it's always a strange experience doing shows like this, but you have to just kind of, you have to just persevere. A bit like the whole year, just you, just persevere, persevere, persevere. This is a traditional song, but it's my version of it. The cuckoo is a pretty bird, she sings as she flies. She promises hope, yet she brings only sighs. She fools all the other birds and then she flies clear. And when she calls cuckoo, the summer draws near. As I was out walking, I passed by a bush. I heard two birds singing, the blackbird and thrush. I asked them the reason, so merry they be. The answer they gave me, our children are free. The cuckoo, her children, she never will know. She never will feed them nor watch them grow. She never will guide them nor help them belong. Nor will she be there to teach them her song. Meeting is pleasure, parting is grief. An unloving parent is worse than a thief. A A thief will but rob you and take what they see, but an unloving parent will take what could be. With no one to school her or teach her the way. What whim makes her travel? Why does she not stay? Oh, life is a dark glass, a true mystery. How does the cuckoo find way across the sea? When the cuckoo is a pretty bird, she sings as she flies. She promises hope, yet she brings only sighs. And when her time is done, we'll song will not hear, nor know where she goes to till another year. Here's, I hope everything's, you can hear everything okay. So, does this sound okay? You hear everything? You?
Sounds lovely, thanks.
Oh, thanks. Okay. This is a song. I haven't played this song about probably more than 10 years actually, but I don't play it because I can't really play it very well. So I can start playing it. It's too hard. But Tom asked me to play it, and so I'm playing it especially for him. And it's a song about depression, which is something that's very current for a lot of people at the moment, because people with mental health issues have had it severely challenged by this dreadful year. And when I first released this song, somebody in a review seemed to think it was about obsessive relationship, which really sort of disturbed me, because it's not at all about that. I'm just a crow, black heart and soul, my dirty body as black as coal, my tatted wings and fanning tail, they'll keep you here, they are your drill. You lose the days when I'm with you, I draw the curtain and paint them blue. You think there's ways of losing me, one day I'll leave and you'll be free, but none of that is really true. I'm in your heart. eyes black and cruel. You fear my shadow, you dread my pull. I stifle thoughts, I smother words because of me. You shun me, I break your bones, I make you sleep, I draw the tears out when you're alone. You think there's ways of losing me. One day I'll leave and you'll be free, but none of that is really true. I'm in your heart, I'm part of you. You cannot shake what lies inside. You cannot run, you cannot hide. All through the years I'll stay with you. I'll shape your life and all you do. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I'm just a crowd. Slick guitar change. This next song is about the village of Eam, and it's appropriate for the pandemic and lockdowns and isolation, so I thought I would play it. It's the village of Eam, for people that don't know, is in Derbyshire, and it's in a valley. And during the plague, they received a tailor in the village received a shipment of cloth from London, and the cloth came riddled with plague, and the plague came to the village, and they decided unilaterally to isolate themselves in quarantine, and they had a stone between them and the next village of Stony Millerton, which has holes drilled in it, and they put vinegar in the holes, and they would bring pennies and put them in the vinegar because they thought the vinegar would kill the plague. And the next village, the people of Stony Millerton used to bring them up bread and supplies, and they managed to isolate the plague to that one village. Lots of people died, but it was an act of great heroism, really. And this stone is called the Boundary Stone, so this song is called the Boundary Stone. Put it on the wrong fret. Oh dear, it's slick today, isn't it? Yeah. Was it you brought the pennies for the cold drill holes along down the lane, along down the lane? Was it you brought the pennies for the cold drill holes all along down the lanes to the Boundary Stone? Will you come back again, love, when the bright moon swells along down the lane, all along down the lane. Will you come back again, love, when the bright moon swells all along down the lane to the boundary stone? How long must we wait, love, for our liberty along down the lane, all along down the lane? How long must we wait, love, till our liberty, till we can be free of the boundary stone? How long will it be, love, till we meet again along down the lane, all along down the lane? How long will it be, love, till we meet again, all along down the lane, the boundary stone, far, far away. Okay, I've got one more song. This is a song about what? Sorry, I get the rhythm. This is a song about where racism leads, basically, ultimately, and it's all about how it's the little things, or the little things, are all as guilty as the big. Everything is as guilty in the end. So you have to just fight every little thing. Don't let anything slip by. The room that held the meeting, the maid who brought the tea, the lips that spoke the cold dead words of things that should not be, the pulp that made the paper, the soot that stained the ink, the rubber tree that bled this down, the hand that made it sing, the type that set the orders, the print that made them law, the metaphors that hid the deeds and led them to ignore, the wood that made the wagon boards, the sand that caused the wheel, the thread that fired the engine black, the plunge that rode the steel, the miles that brought them hunger, the nights that brought them near, the railway men who worked the line, the screams they would not hear, the planks that built the ticket hole, the fares it never sold, the brush that drew the fake clock hands, the hours they never told, the farmers of Treblinka who smiled across their fields, the pig that felled the shovel, the fork that broke the soil, the spade that dug the burning pit, the match that lit the oil, the truck that gave its engine, shack that held the women, the shears that cut their logs, the sacks which cord their falling hair, the looms that made it socks, the shed that held the chamber, the switch that killed the lights, the rivet steel that made the door, the latch that held it tight, the fires of Jamaica, you smile across their throats, the knife that cut the breakfast bread, the plow that cut the field, the moldboard then that rolled the ash and in the earth concealed, the smuts that blacked the luncheon burst, the tongues that licked it clean, the eyes that watched the silent hole that marked the world obscene, the fires of Jamaica, you smile across their throats, the fires of Jamaica, you smile across their throats, as the trains rolled in, 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 as the trains rolled in. Thanks. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thanks very much indeed, John. Lovely stuff. I love that 12 string. Mark, you probably recognise that we're running a little bit behind time, so I apologise for that. I'd like to welcome Mark now.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me well? Thumbs up are appreciated. Thanks very much. Yes, these gigs are interesting, aren't they, John? Thanks for that. I caught most of your set, which was yeah, some really interesting stuff there. That story of the Plague Village is one that I remember well from my my days at school. The idea of putting the coins in the vinegar is a really well, it sticks in the memory quite clearly, that one. So thanks for that. I was asked to come partly because of a particular piece that I have got. I'm a poet, teacher, performer, activist. I would say general big mouth for hire, but it would depend on who's paying. There are some for whom no amount of coin would allow me to work. But yes, for the right fee and the right person, I am available. Today I will be sharing 3 or 4 pieces depending on how we go for time. Hugh, are you keen to catch up time, or are you okay to be as far behind as you are now?
We're okay. We're fine. We're
Good.
relaxed.
I won't rush myself in that case. I'll give you about 14 more minutes of me. Now we're going to try. I'm going to start with the technical bit that may go completely. Well, if you've played a lot of Zoom, you'll know what I mean when I say it may not quite go according to plan. When I trained to be a teacher, the first IT session I had, they said to me, the most important thing you need to be aware of when it comes to IT is that it probably won't work. So we're starting from the basis that it probably won't work. The B plan is already lined up, but we are going to go for it and see if I can share a video of a poem at the start. Let's see whether that works. Now, can you see I can't see any of you now because I've got all I've got is my own screen. Can you see my cursor in the middle and the SOTF final
Yes, we
masters
can.
subs?
We've got
That's boding well. So the image is working. Next, all we need is sound. The good news is it's subtitled. So if it's not working, I will read my own poem from the subtitles. Just to give you a bit of background, this was commissioned by the Maritime Museum in Greenwich, their education department. Somebody actually saw me at a Stand Up to Racism event and said, we'd like you to do something for the UNESCO International Slavery Remembrance Day. I think it's actually called the International Day for Remembrance of the Transatlantic Slave Trade and its Abolition. But yes, that's a bit of a mouthful. That's obviously a name designed by commission. And when committees come up with names, yeah, they get everything in that needs to be there, but it doesn't make it catchy. So I was asked to write something. It was an interesting process. We had an interesting discussion when they told me what they thought the fee should, what they had as a fee, and I did have to explain to them if they wanted me to write about the exploitation of my ancestors, they really needed to try not to exploit me in the process. They did their best. But let's just say they paid for about 1/10 of what they got. But hey, there we go. So that's what this was for. It was shot on location, which sounds much grander than it was. It was shot in Greenwich, but it was shot at the Maritime Museum and on the Cutty Sark, which is part of the Royal Museums Greenwich, which is all part of. They're all associated. They're all connected, but I'm not allowed to call it the Maritime Museum because they're not the Maritime Museum. So hopefully this will work. It includes, well, in the credits, it will tell you who the bits and pieces that are included are from. Let's see if it works. Sound is what we're waiting for. Cross your fingers. In fact, Hugh, can you just tell me, because I won't be able to see anybody nodding or shaking.
We have sound.
Super, I'll shut up.
What if these, once shivering timbers, could talk? Tell tales about those who once walked between them, the scenes that they'd not so much seen as absorbed with the salt of the spray and the tears shed in the triangular trade in which so many souls were bought and sold, young and old alike, back in the days when the darker fruits of the tree of humanity were just another commodity to be transported for an unfeasibly large profit on a disgracefully small fee. A fruit which, like any other, could so easily spoil once it was separated from the roots and the soil of the land where it had been grown, from all it had ever loved, all it had ever known, imprisoned as much by the high seas as the tall ships from where the shores were not visible for weeks at a time, where hope disappeared beneath yards of sail and rope, dancing to the twin tunes of the whistle of the wind and the whip. There are so many more than 9 tales to be told, including those of the weak, the sick, and the unbreakably bold who could not be cowed between stern and bow and rebelled somehow despite the shackles. Some argue those warriors, brothers, mothers, and others who never made the journey's end were in fact the lucky ones. But there were no winners here, in the squalor between the decks. For most, just unending fear and punishment for the crime of not dying. But that's a lie. For some, this gamble paid off royally, building fortunes, cities, even empires, including ours, those of Spain, Portugal, and the Dutch, all of which owed as much to the unutterably unholy sales of not just the flesh present, but of the generations to come. I wonder what my ancestors on board would have made of me. Seed of the fruit of the 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 tree of which they are the root. Perhaps one day I'll ask them. But until then, I'd ask you to remember them and to join the dots in the chain that link us all.
Okay, so that was The Seed of the Fruit, written by me. Yes, my brother did the sound. The painting Ship of Fools. Oh, actually, I do want that to slow down. Hold on. The painting Ship of Fools by Kehinde Wiley was the image that you saw at the beginning and was behind me in lots of the shots. And the sculpture was of a Lauda Equiano. I really objected to having the word slave in this, but I wasn't allowed to use the artwork without the official title as given by the artist. I even ended up having a discussion with them about whether they should rename it, given that the person that they're referring to was not born a slave, fought his way out of slavery, lived most of his life not a slave, but they believed that their title was more appropriate. Yes, some more issues to be had. And yes, thanks to the other people who assisted with that project. Okay, stop sharing. Let's see whether did that actually show up for everybody. Were you all able to watch? Oh, I can see Mike's looking good, Hugh's looking good. All right, that's a good sign. Okay, so yeah, the roots of slavery, the roots of racism for me are based in the justifications of the slave trade. Interestingly, in America during the earliest days of the slave trade, racism didn't really exist. A black person could become it was more about whether or not you were Christian. That was the most important thing people were worried about. Were you a Christian or not? And in fact, a black person could buy themselves out of slavery, become rich, and then own other slaves. And at some point, they decided that was a bad idea, so they changed the law in the Americas to make it that it was about color rather than about religion, because anybody could change their religion if it was convenient. Which, hey, you put shackles on my wrists, I will suddenly convert to whatever faith is required in order to get them removed. So it's an interesting angle on that particular story. But for me, it's the attempts to justify slavery, wherein we find the roots of slavery, white supremacy, and eugenics. I think an awful lot of things are tied up in that attempt to justify what is basically the unjustifiable, certainly by most religious books and by most current non-religious sort of theories and ideas. But yes, that's where I went to for the remembrance of that particular and unfortunately painful, tragic trade. In terms of other things relating to racism, I've got lots of other bits and pieces, and I'm going to do a really short one actually next, which is because it's called BHM, which is Black History Month, because this month is Black History Month, next month is Black History Month, and every other month for me is Black History Month, because we just don't get taught enough Black history. And this one goes pretty much like this. 1 month is simply insufficient for the serious reflection on the often untold past of people with a Nubian connection. In just this month, most of our schools will take a brief look back, but check just far enough and isn't all our history black. And in those who know his or her story by another's force was taken, these 1 and 30 days a little anger will awaken. Seems soul food cannot soothe it, nor wise words from Angelou when days to consider our achievement or enslavement are so very few. Still, it's better than nothing, which is the reparation offered for centuries of oppression. Even apologies are not proffered. So when I'm asked about our celebration in October, whilst as a start it may be great, like the Reverend Jackson, I must state, despite Obama, the struggle is still not over. And that one's a little bit old. But I was working in schools about 10 years ago when I wrote that, actually a little bit after I wrote that, and saying to people, you know, Black history is really important. And they were like, oh, do we really need Black History Month anymore? Don't we live in a post-racial society today? You know, we've had a black president. It's all historical now. Would you want to harp on about that anymore? There aren't many silver linings to the terrible things that have been going on over the last couple of months, but at least I don't have to try and win those arguments anymore, because people, pretty much all right-minded people, and even some of those who are completely wrong-minded, accept that racism is a real thing that's really here, and it's undeniable. So to call that a silver lining is to show how much of an optimist I am, looking for hope where no hope exists. The next piece I want to share is about somebody from the same borough. I live in Southeast London, in Lewisham, and this is the piece about Stephen Lawrence. The reason I've chosen to do this one is because he passed away. His birthday would have been his 46th birthday today. So this one's called 20 Years Ago, and it was written on the 20th anniversary of his death on the 22nd of April 2013. 20 years ago, he is waiting for a bus, because 20 years ago, he is simply one of us. But 20 years ago, he comes under attack just because 20 years ago, this teenager is black. 20 years ago, he runs for his life because 20 years ago, racists stick him with a knife. 20 years ago, this firework is far too fleeting. And so 20 years ago, his brave heart, it will stop bleeding. But 20 years ago when the officers arrive, yes, just 20 years ago, this young man is still alive, but 20 years ago, no compassion is displayed. When 20 years ago, none will administer first aid. 20 years ago, justice is not expected. 20 years ago, perpetrators are protected, as 20 years ago, the system is unfair, and 20 years ago, it seems too many do not care. 20 years ago, we were right to doubt those wearing blue. And though this was 20 years ago, to this day, many still do. So 20 years have passed since he came under attack. Yes, 20 years have passed since he was killed for being black. 20 years have passed since he waited for a bus. And 20 years have passed since he was simply one of us. Okay, so how am I doing for time? Oh, gosh, I've used most of my time. Time flies when you're having fun. You have a choice. In fact, no, I'm not going to give you a choice. I'm going to give you a poem that I want to give you, and you'll have to enjoy it. No. That's the power of being in charge. Yes, not that I would abuse that power, but it's a great poem. And assuming I can find it. There it will be in there. And it will be here. This bringing us right up to date. So I went a few hundred years back. I came to my childhood, the time that I spent growing up. And I'm now back up to date with this year, with why this particular events that involved George Floyd and why they have had such an impact. So this piece is called We Didn't Want to Watch. And hopefully it should go just like this. And this will be my last one. We didn't want to watch, but this film cast the world as extras. No speaking role for us, just places on the sidewalk from where we could not talk. Simply the silent witnesses to scenes that should not be seen. I said, simply the silent witnesses to scenes that should not be seen. But they were. And now we are all haunted by the breathless last of a life that passed beneath the knee. Oh, to be clear, we are all sure this has happened before, but this crime we got to see. And this time, the guilt just could not be any clearer. And in that moment, we could not feel any nearer or any more powerless. And as the words of reason poured from round about us, we could tell that they fell on deaf ears. And the darker amongst us, we saw our darkest fears. Our ancestral mothers above us cried even more tears for yet another soul they would see too soon. But without doubt, what truly marked this out as a chalk line for change is how reason went unheard by those that were there. They had spoken the words that we would have spoken if they had been us. If we had had the chance to cuss two bad words in his defense, but in fact we know because their actions show all the words in the world could have made no impact on their indifference. This is why fists everywhere have been raised in defiance. Yes, raised in the air past many a tear-streaked cheek of those who now refuse to be so meek and mild. Man, our anger is wild, and like your shame, these words proclaim there is a chance our anger may never be tamed. But let me take a moment to breathe. because that's one privilege which I still have. We've seen some try to shatter Malcolm and Dr. Martin's dreams under jackboots, which wish to stomp on the green shoots that grow from the grassroots, who know these 3 words to be true: Black Lives Matter. As to what happens next, well, that's simply up to you. Thank you. And there I will leave you. I overran by about 3-4 minutes. I hope that doesn't. I've made your lateness problem of at least 4 minutes worse, I think. But that's me trying to behave myself.
We loved that, and it was well worth the 4 minutes more. We could have more, really.
Yeah, I've got them coming out of my ears. So if you want more, I've got one lined up that I normally do, which is kind of, well, there's a choice. There's one which is kind of my signature piece, and there's one which is about the looting and the perverse views that people have on looting. But depending on whether if you want one more, I can certainly give you an encore. Otherwise, I'm happy to be on my merry way.
John, who's next, John Ward. I think John would be happy to hear your poem.
Cool.
Let's hear it.
Would you like looting or my signature piece? I don't mind.
Your signature piece.
Let's go for that one. I am a cultural chameleon, a lyrical social comedian. I felt I had no choice but to change my voice to appear average by mean, mode, or median. I've studied hard to fit in and be cool for as long as I've been able to speak, although not to stand out in my school, I had to learn to talk common, not Latin or Greek. Me have to pick up my patois in conversation, but in darker than me did too, because if you're not first generation, it might not come naturally to you. I've delved deep in all sides of my history, something I believe every person should do, because if where you come from's a mystery, can you be sure that your heading is true? So to stories of Romans and Boudica, I add Maroons, Garvey, and Shaka Zulu, and ensure the light of the Lady of the Lamp never obscures Mary's sequel from view. My biological heritage is both black and British, and yet some really do seem to feel that my need to pay subs to both these cultural clubs is somehow less than real. Like some BNP or National Front, jumped up runt, son of an Enoch Powell influenced ignorant grunt who wants us all to go back to our historically correct geographical homes. But hold on, mine's split by over 5 hours of time, and that's a little harder to straddle than a couple of travel card zones. Forget that this Patriot's Queen is Franco-German. The suggestion of this lunatic is the place I should feel most at home in is floating somewhere over the mid-Atlantic. One toe down in London town, the other in Kingston, poor rich. Better put me on the rack right now. Come my legs, them just won't stretch. My left side is waiting for my breakfast scene, when my right side's just had me lunch. I guess if I'm confused, stuck in between, I could always just do brunch. But from that lofty spot, I could appreciate many artists that helped shape our current worldview. Great bards from Tough Gong to Billy Waggadagger, known as Marley and Shakespeare to you. The Windrush might appear through time's mist to me, as it answered the mother country's call. Those aboard unbowed by their history, each one with a right to stand proud and tall. Slave routes back to Africa will be visible too. A journey so many did not survive. Britannia's involvement is shameful, it's true, but I'm so proud that I am alive, for my DNA's very existence is a testimony to my ancestors' persistence and my parents' tolerance. Even when surrounded by overwhelming ignorance, it is a unique blend of Aboriginal British bloodlines and those of the invited immigrants. So, yes, I am a cultural chameleon, a lyrical social comedian, and now, by choice, I change my voice to appear more than average by mean, mode, or medium. Thank you. That was me.
Thank you very much, Mark. Really good stuff. I have
Thanks
to
for
check
having me.
it again.
I would love to hang around, but I've actually got a hosting event in 2 hours, and at some point I've actually got a week today. So I'm doing what I when I host open mic nights, I call this a Hollywood, where you come in, you do your bit, and you flounce off like you're really important. But you know what? My Sunday dinner ain't going to eat itself if I stay here.
No problem. Thanks very much, Mark.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening, everyone.
We will. Cheers. John, I'm sure you didn't mind waiting a bit longer with that wonderful poetry.
That was absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. It was nice. Good to hear.
Good to see you.
And you, yeah, we're just getting our settings right here. No, it's great to hear some really good poetry there. We were listening in while we were tuning up. Can you hear everything coming through clearly? All right. Good.
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. We'll get going then. Okay, so we're going to do a few songs that are relevant to today and this evening. It's a very interesting set of talks coming up later on tonight. We'll talk about one of those specifically, I think. But first of all, it's not enough just to oppose. We have to also find the common humanity amongst us, and that's probably the best way to defeat some of these views, is to actually find the common ground. Hence, we're going to do a song called Common Ground. Yeah, it's about what binds us together and what links us all rather than what divides us. Draw a line through the dirty earth. Now say one side's a foreign place, the other is the land of your birth. On the self-same soil enriches the blood in your veins. Speak your superior, stand firm and state your claim. But what was it like the last time you bled? Did your blood run thick? Did your blood run red? Or was it striped with the colours of the national flag? Was it plain to see you're a thoroughbred? Did the microscope reflect the walls that you erect? Was it something very different that you found? Common ground, common ground, common ground. Study your face, draw a line through the family tree. Is it an easy thing to trace the path of your purity? What's foreign now enriches and blends with this land. The race you claim is yours grows on shifting sand. Oh, what was it like the last time you bled? Did your blood run thick?
thank you very much. Common ground. We're just going to adjust a little something here because since we're on board in Lowestoft, and since we started setting up in here, the sun's gone in, so we're just going to make some sun here, get some light on us. It looks a little bit. I think it's a bit more illuminated, and that door over there. So Linda's just dashing around here, just getting things a bit better. So yeah, that was common ground. We've got a Heritage Week here in Lowestoft. Well, it's all over the country, isn't it? But in Lowestoft, there's lots of heritage sites open where people can go in and find out more about the history of whatever went on in that place. I was watching one just earlier on today because the oldest human remains in Northern Europe were found here in Lowestoft in the cliffs at Pakefield, and they're 700,000 years old. Haysborough took the title a few years later when they found something about 900,000 years old. But the man was explaining that they also found artifacts that were Greek and artifacts from Germany. So it just goes to show that there's always been this interconnectivity, travel, people marrying each other and whatever between different cultures, always gone on. And that we are the result of that. So that's what that song was kind of about, really, common ground. Now later on, I think there's a talk which I'm looking forward to very much about the Mayflower and the Pilgrim fathers and mothers, sons and daughters that went over from Puritan England to what was to become New England, but actually was the Wampanoags' land.
The Native American.
The Native America, the Wampanoags, yeah. And where they were given a welcome, the Pilgrim Fathers, and we went over there, had a visit. We learned all about it. We went to the all kinds of museums and that, and yeah, it's kind of inspired this next song, which Linda's now guessed what it is because we don't have a set list. It's called "Icy Land." And it's about people going to try and find a better life somewhere else for themselves, as we all would probably do if we were in a dire situation. And it's also about the people who inspire such moves or inspire a better life, not necessarily in a different land, but in society generally. And it's name checks a few of those people. It's got a chorus, so to lift some spirits here, because maybe better times are ahead. We hope, if we all stick together. It's just, of course, as Icy Land. And please join in. I know there's a few people watching who will be joining in at home, hopefully. Tossed upon a sea of waves, battered by the bullying storms, lost beyond without a trace, through lightless night and empty door. What lies behind is a foreign land, though in it I was born and grown, still twisted by a grasping hand that wants the whole world for its own. Sometimes the circle, the whirlpool of despair, with his hand to his eye, and cries, I see land, I see land, rising from the waves to save the weary, lost and down. I see land, I see land. Upturned world where black is white, who can see the naked king, or a blame for their own plight? Loud charity trumps everything, but there's a time to heal and a time to bleed, a time to cut the ties that bind, to face the pain that the fear exceeds. So here's to Gandhi and Dr. King, Emmeline and Rosa too. Bevan and Mandela, it's to you I sing, and all the ones who sail in you. Do we need a leader? Do we need a guide? The fire-eyed soul can see much more. Take us through to the other side, or is it in ourselves we find that shore? For all those who suffer under the weight of care, up there in the crow's nest, where the watchers dance in the dark hour of the age, she cries, I see land. Lambs, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think there might have been some joining in at home. Okay, well, we'll move on. Put the cap on the 3rd fret now. See if Lynn can guess what this one is. Yeah, so this is a song called Pull the Ladder Up.
Oh.
And it's about kind of exactly that, really. About wealth, people perhaps with wealth, and well, how society is structured, perhaps, is what it's about. That the ladder has been pulled up by the people at the top, or the people in power, people with money and power, to stop less fortunate people from climbing that ladder, and all the obstacles that are in the way. And statistics will show, like I know statistics will show all kinds of things, but it's pretty clear that if you went to the right school and your family had money, and you're the right colour, and you're the right sex as well, that you have certain advantages, and where you were born in the world, all these things have give an advantage to people. So this is, like I say, called Pull the Ladder Up. You can find some of the statistics, actually. We did a lyric video for this song, which is on YouTube, and it's got some of the actual sort of facts on there about the different, how many people went to private school who are now in positions of great power. The percentage is disproportionate.
Yeah, most of them are in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them are in the cabinet.
Pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up, heave ho and don't let go, and pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up, heave ho and don't let go, and pull the ladder up. The people with the power are the ones the systems work for. They are the dogs that ate the dogs and rats that won the race, and they are not inclined to be so kind to open doors. They're in no hurry to let someone else take their place. They will tell you they have worked for every pound they made, leaving bloated egos. Luck would never play a part. But when they say that you can do the same, they are afraid you will see the lies. You stay in the hole and cry. Pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up, heave ho and don't let go, and pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up, heave ho and don't let go, and pull the ladder up.
You know that money goes to money, power passes on to power. By sleight of hand, shakes seems to make and take a little more. Dangles down a dream and knows the hungry will devour. Commodities are like the beats that we bought eating for. They will say you must protect yourself to keep your share. Keep us all in chains, calling law and order. And you should be scared of the poor ones away. Dying on the oceans, dying on the borders. Pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up. Heave ho and don't let go and pull the ladder up. Pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up. Heave ho and don't let go and pull the ladder up. There's a girl who can't sleep at night for hunger. There's a sleeping boy whose dreams his wealth will not deny. And there's the bright school girl unnoticed in the numbers, the boy with all the opportunity that cash can buy. And there's the man who pulls the strings of influence, the woman who works in jobs beneath what she is able. As she takes the tip, she bows her head in deference. He doesn't notice her as she waits upon his table, saying, pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up. Heave ho and don't let go and pull the ladder up. Pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up. Heave ho and don't let go and pull the ladder up. Say, pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up. Heave ho and don't let go and pull the ladder up. Pull the ladder up, pull the ladder up. Heave ho and don't let go and pull the ladder up. There you go. Let's pull the ladder up. Cheers.
Thank you.
We'll do slow it down a little bit now. This is a song called The Drift. I've taken to introducing this one by reminding people when we play it around here at least, well actually when we play in other parts of the country as well, I tend to say this now, that in 1938 the refugees arrived from Europe fleeing the Nazis, and they came through Lowestoft. They arrived here, put up in the area, welcomed, and then moved on to safer places, because after all, Lowestoft wasn't exactly safe, it was quite heavily bombed. So things were bad then, things still are, people are still very much on the move, for similar reasons all over the world. In fact, I believe there are more people on the move now than ever, as far as I understand it, fleeing war and famine and oppression. It's a song called The Drift. I think Richard Chilvers asked for this particularly. We sail adrift upon an ocean with no mark to hold my hearts. Sometimes I stand, sometimes I'm broken. I miss the land which I was part. The winds of change blow right through me, take my breath and turns me round. The waves roll on with might and fury. I turn to you for solid ground. Sail on through sorrow, sail on to the dawn. Who knows what lies tomorrow? sustain me and bear the weight of all I've lost. Sail on through sorrow, sail on to the dawn. Who knows what lies tomorrow? But when all hope is gone, what can we do? Just sail on. Sail on through sorrow, sail on to the dawn. Who knows what lies tomorrow? But when all hope is gone, what can we do? We must sail on. We are adrift.
Thank you.
Okay, we're time for a couple more songs, I think. This is a song called Praying for the Alien, which is a similar theme to Common Ground, the first song we did. Similar idea, really. The idea of this one being that what usually it takes to find our common humanity is some outside threat. People come together when that happens. We've seen it a little bit during this whole COVID thing, where people have realised certain things about society and themselves and have pulled together and been a bit friendlier and all that sort of thing, haven't they? So
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit friendlier. Well, I mean, I think they have.
Yeah, no, people have been.
When people were sort of clapping out in the street
Yeah.
and everything, that was really good to see. And I think people have been generally talking nicer to each other, maybe not on Twitter. So this is called Praying for the Alien, as I've already said. It's from an album of the same name. All these songs, I have to say this, sorry, I have to have a plug here. All these songs are on albums of mine, of ours. Because we are musicians and we are,
out of work.
haven't playing any gigs at the moment, really. So if you feel like you like any of these songs, then go on to our website and get the albums. Or if not, just go to Spotify or
www.johnward.org.uk is the website, and the albums are available on that.
But I say there is Spotify as well, and,
Yeah.
and those streaming services. Anyway, Praying for the Alien. Here we go. North fights south and west fights east. The president says we're fighting for peace. Can all this killing make real peace ever come? Maybe we should pray for the alien. White hates black and blue sees red. In a colourless world, black with only one grey dead. As each age passes its prejudice on, maybe we should pray for the alien. 'Cause when that great ship hangs low in the sky and the whole world wonders whether we're about to die from the two-headed thing with one orange eye, will you be looking at the skin of the person by your side? La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. we all lose. It all comes down to whose truth do you choose? They've accused and killed since history begun. Maybe we should pray for the alien. So raise the flag, salute and swear fire. 21 guns high in the air. As the nation tribes cry, which side are you on? Say that you pray for the alien. 'Cause when that great ship looms into you, will you be thinking about the God that your neighbor is praying to? And when their strange flag is at last unfurled, will you be thinking about your country or thinking about the world? We're praying for the alien. We're praying for the alien. 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 Not to be confused with Praying for Alan, which is a whole different song. Okay. So,
have we got
time
time for one more?
One more here, is that all right? Yes, we're getting the thumbs up from Q there. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you, it's great to hear all the other people singing and the poetry earlier. And I hope you stick around for the evening. I'm certainly going to be tuning in to hear some of these interesting things. But keep the faith, one step forward.
Yes.
2 steps forward, 1 back. I think we are in a better place than we were quite a lot of years ago when we really think about it. This is important to remember because you've got to have hope. And you've got a hope with action is what we need. But you have to keep hopeful, otherwise we just become totally despondent. I know the times are challenging, but that's the way history goes. You only have to watch history programs and history lectures to know that things ebb and they flow. But I think we have flowed, and we've ebbed a little bit, and we're going to be flowing again at some point, maybe in the not too distant future. I reckon so.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah.
We have to be positive, and with that in mind, this song is called "Here Comes Hope."
Yeah.
It's off the latest CD, Left Drawing, and it's proved quite well. People have found somebody to connect with lately when we've played this song, because it's kind of uplifting with a positive message, and it's got a good sort of hook, so you can try and sing along if you can.
If you can sing along at home, that'd be great. And wave the phones and, and get the candles out, and that'd be good. Thanks very much once again. You can find us on Facebook, John Ward Music, and Twitter, and Instagram now, John Ward Music and Photos. And there's the website. Yeah.
Down with the kids.
Hugh, that's excellent.
Okay, great.
Here we go. The seas are filled with ragged sails, with broken hearts sinking fast. Though they try to bail, and if they land on that golden shore, will they find peace and a helping hand?
or a barbed wire, while the men of straw with heads of steam stand behind the lines they draw as they plot and scheme to shape the world for greed and power, casting blame while the innocent cower beneath the steel rain, but in the desert sands lie two legs of stone where there used to stand a king of kings on a soldier throne for time like rain, rust and erodes. With every draw, the tide is changed, and the hardest scrolls they comes home. Over that hill, with banners and drums, and an iron wheel, it comes home. Over that hill, with an open hand, guidance for those put down and ridiculed, who stood up tall, who stood their ground for a better world, who were cursed and burned, mocked and maligned, crushed under rule. They turn on the heels of a later time, with longest sight, or when the age was blind. They shine the light and change the world by changing minds, and their beacons guide how hope prevails against the tide. Ageless fall, with the ragged sail, it comes home. Over that hill, with banners and drums, and an iron wheel, it comes home. Over that hill, with an open hand, guidance over that hill, it goes home, with an iron wheel, it comes home. Over that hill, it comes home, guidance steers, it comes home. Over that hill, it comes home, with an iron wheel, it comes home. Over that hill, it comes home, guidance There you go. Here Comes Hope. Lynn, John,
John.
we'll see you
Next time.
Thank you. That was filled me full of hope.
Great.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you to everybody that's contributed to lovely music and poetry. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, John. And lovely afternoon. And we should have a really good evening from 7 as well. So I think that the Black Lives Matter has filled us full of hope as well. And the fact that they're taking I think that Trump will be defeated by Black Lives Matter. That's some hope for us. Okay, see you all this evening, hopefully, at 7.
Is that all right? Is that a break now?
It's a break now.
Oh, sorry. That's the earliest I could have got here anyway, because I've been at an NEU thing earlier on.
How was it?
The Celebrating Education one.
All right.
Really, it was really good actually. It was on climate change. They're going to circulate the they're going to make it the recording available as it. I didn't realise that at the time. Otherwise, I'd have probably been here earlier. But
okay.
Anyway, take care. See you later.
See you later. Cheers, everybody. Thanks.
Yeah.